All right, I think we're recording. Happy days. All right, guys, welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, Daniel.
We have Colin, who you know who he is, our fashion designer in Tenerife First Excursions, and my business partner and an all-round legend. And we have Mason here. And what I like to do when we have someone new on the podcast, I like them to kind of just give me a little bit about themselves. So if you could open us up by telling us a bit about who you are, what you do, and where you're from.
Sweet. Right. So
No pressure.
my name's Mason. I live in Blackpool at the minute, outskirts of Blackpool. A bit of the posh side. Thank you, Sophie. Much love. I was born in Wiston, which Scousers will argue it's not Liverpool, but I support Liverpool, so that basically makes you from there anyway. So, but yeah, I'm 25. Obviously, I've got Sophie, my fiance. My daughter is 2, Ophelia. Joined the army at 15. Well, signed up at 15. Started training at 16. And I left 2 and a bit years ago. Once found out, obviously, was having a little girl, signed off, wrote an early release letter to my CO. Basically, you have to beg them to let you go early, otherwise you have to serve a full year before you can leave. And got home, did a couple of different jobs, and then now I do TikTok and other stuff. Now I come to Tenerife and I want to just jump on jet skis and that.
So for anyone who's watching this, you mentioned Sophie.
Yeah.
Who's Sophie?
So Sophie is my missus. A lot of people will know her from TikTok. The real ones will know her back from when she used to rap on music videos.
I'm a real one then.
Yeah, you're a real one. Yeah.
I remember watching a noisy documentary on the grime scene in Blackpool, which to me was like grime in Blackpool. It was unheard of, really, wasn't it? It was kind of when all that music was sprouting up in different small, different areas where it was probably predominantly London, Manchester, I would have said before that. I remember seeing Sophie Aspen on it and Little T and all these people and raw beefing and everything. I wonder why, incredible documentary. Yeah. And then years later, just see you coming to Tenerife, and that's how we linked in, no? Mad, no?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know anything about any of that stuff until, the whole TikTok world to me was like something I never really understood, and it was Colin that got me into kind of, we need to do TikTok for your business, and we got into it, and then obviously we met you guys through that, and Colin actually sent me that. There was a documentary on YouTube about Sophie and Little T, Ice T.
No,
Little T, yeah.
Little T, okay. I know who Ice T is. I was just throwing that as a joke, yeah. But I enjoyed the rap, I enjoyed the rap, and
do you know what? When I was that age though, like when it was all happening, didn't have a clue.
No.
Yeah.
I recognised her face. I knew it was all a thing, but I never used to be one of the kids that bopped to it and stuff like that. It was only when I met her and I started listening to her, and I was like, do you know what? She's telling a story here, babe. If you don't know me, I'm MTV.
So you grew up in Blackpool, but you didn't know anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, we're on a podcast, so I guess I should really start explaining all my troubles and woes of childhood.
No.
But so I didn't
tell us your pain.
TVs, phones, and stuff like that. All that came quite a bit later.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, when it was all going on, because I mean, if I look at her now, I wish I'd have got amongst it, but I never saw it. I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
Except for all of them.
You can rap, though, no?
Huh?
You can rap.
Who you been speaking to? You've been watching my meta glasses from there.
The home in the mirror.
Yeah.
So when you talk about TikTok, what do you do on your TikTok? Like what's kind of, if someone was to look you up now, firstly, how would they look you up? And what exactly do you do on your TikTok? What's your kind of content in general?
Honestly, I've never ever had a theme. I've never had I do this specific genre of stuff. It's literally start feeling weird, press record, and then just catch it all on video as quick as I can. Because the last thing, but this is the thing about doing that though. People who plan the videos out and do it properly, the proper influencers, that dedicate themselves to it, and they have these awesome videos that do so well. A lot of the time for smaller creators like myself, and my mate Reese has agreed with it. Reese's Cars, shout out, come on, go follow my TikTok. I love that. But we were chatting the other day, and it's the videos that you least expect to blow up, the ones that are just off the cuff, 20 seconds of randomness, and then next thing you know, it's popped, on 1.1 million views, but then a video that, so I can't sit and plan out a video. I have a thought about something and then record, but see if I sat there and strategically mapped out how I was going to do this video, I can't do it because it's too It's fake then for me.
Yeah.
Like, not saying that people shouldn't fake, because a lot of videos that are on TikTok that are planned are funny, but I can't get that fakeness as in that it has to happen like this. You can see, you know, that Jack Jones getting outed on Facebook videos where, for the pizza thing. You know what I mean? He's going up to people and asking them first if he can do the prank, and then going away and coming back and doing it. I couldn't do stuff like that. I'm very like real with mine. And there's, like I said, there's no pinpointed, he does this, he does that, he does comedy sketches, he does, I don't know, food reviews. Like, it's just a mangle of everything, like just spat all over a TikTok page.
So it's basically like any just random parts of your life, basically.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing the last time you were here, you took the piss out of Bevo and it blew up, no? It was going up like 50,000 views an hour, wasn't it?
Every time I updated it was a bit of a 10k, and you know what I mean? Like, not shout out to him though, I still want to chin you, mate.
Who do you want to chin? Because I don't. Who's okay, so right, I'm going to tell you something, right? I'm like the granddad of this office when it comes to like what's modern and what's cool. Like, so
he's not cool.
Is he not? Right. No. Okay. But the lads know who all these people are. Like, they come to me with names and say, oh, this person would be great, you know, working with us or whatever. And I'm just like, I have never heard of any of them. So who is this dude? Or
he started off like doing food reviews in his dad's box room. Like, he was, don't get me wrong, he's come far, but how he's got there, I don't agree with. I'd be there too if I did the stuff. We'll get into that. We've got plenty of time, haven't we?
Yeah.
Just going to spend the whole hour speaking about Beaver.
No, we'll try to, because
basically, he started off eating, but it was the way he ate. He chewed his potatoes twice.
Just swallowed it.
And then swallowed it. And it was just, people just watched from that, and it was just like this mesmerizing thing that was watching. And then he started latching on to the fame, that fake fame that TikTok gives you. Like, people come up to me, oh my God, you have TikTok? And I really am just that lowest level average Joe who just thinks, don't let how many followers you have on TikTok influence how you behave in social
with people. Like,
that's why I can't walk around recording. I tried it yesterday trying to vlog, and I can't do it. I can't speak to the camera of the people around me. It's not for me.
The worst is on a flight. When I used to do like a vlog on a flight, I'd take out a camera and I'd be like, there'd be someone sitting beside me and I'd feel like a complete plank, you know.
But anyway, Bevo's because of how he's got where he is. He took it from something so wholesome and laughing with him, and it's funny.
Yeah.
And I was watching it and I followed him and everything, and then all of a sudden he just started to the point now where it's companies are paying him 10k to make out this new crypto coin is amazing.
I've seen that, yeah.
All right.
They rug pull.
So basically taking money off people.
Yeah, because
that's shit, you know.
Yeah. Really, really shit.
I really hate that stuff, because like, you're taking money out of people that are like, generally people who go for like those cryptos and think they're going to make millions are people that are struggling at this point in time anyways. So then you're literally pushing them deeper into depression or deeper into pain. Like,
you lose every bit of respect and trust. So when I post something on TikTok, all my followers will watch me, that know me from, not know me obviously, but watch me from the beginning. Will see I don't tell lies. I don't. I'll call if I see something wrong, or if I've done something wrong, I'll call myself out. Not that I've ever had to, but if that was the case, or I'd explain myself in a way that it justifies what I've said or what I've done. Because you know, cancel culture at the minute has it's been bad for ages. Say the wrong thing and get blasted by everybody. But I'm very honest and very open with the way I go. So I know how many people would trust me if I said, do this, it's really good. I know there would be people out there, if it's 10, it's 10, if it's 5, it's 5, it's 1,000, it's 1,000. You have these sorts of people, millions of followers, Bevo, talking up this coin that's doing business, and the guy didn't know what a stop loss or a take profit is, and it's a trading term. He doesn't have a clue what he's doing. But he's making out he's doing all this and he's doing all that. He's not a company. Some random geezer who looks like a foot and can't be the face of it, wants to stay hidden behind his computer, will pay influencers who are well known and well trusted by people, because the influencers are good at playing mind games with the public and making them think that they are poor. Oh, my bank details are in my bio, but they're doing videos that are over a minute long and they're getting millions of views on them and stuff. It doesn't happen like that. You've got money, but people will trust. People will buy this coin, and it'll get built up to however many million, and then the guys who created the coin, everything's gone. Someone's put 200k into this coin because they've seen how well it's been doing. Oh my God, it's on the rise, it's on the rise. And it's because all these idiots, and they are idiots because they trust people like Bevo and trust people. I keep saying him But there's others that do it. But he's
not he's not the only one. I mean, if you go all the way up to like, you know, you could be talking like, and
I mean, Black
I'd be
Rock
careful
Vanguard.
who I say. You know, there's some big influencers out, like
Yeah,
big name
Donald
influencers.
Trump.
You know that have been
Whoa, that's it.
Melania Trump.
Melania Trump.
They all had crypto coins out there that just
Rug pulled.
like just dropped. Like, and there's also like, I wouldn't say rug pull because I have no proof that that's the case, but there's even different influencers, like you're talking about. What's the Paul brothers? They were heavily involved in cryptos. That I'm not saying rug pull, but they went really high and then just plummeted, which generally indicates a rug pull. But you can't, prove it.
The fastest way to make the most money.
There's a guy out there called CoffeeZilla. Do you ever watch this?
Yeah, he's awesome.
It's
he's
cool.
With that Haley Welch, isn't he?
Yeah.
But that's another thing. What can happen? Has she been cleared now, Haley Welch?
Yeah.
Because what can happen is you'll get these sweet, innocent people like who are plunged into fame off one interview, street interview, when she said hooked her.
Yeah.
She blew up overnight, was this massive thing, and then she's getting celebrity status everywhere she goes. And it with these ones that don't really understand it that well. Someone goes, "Oh, I want to name a coin after your crypto coin. How does that sound?" "Oh yeah, that's awesome. We'll pay you some money from it.
Yeah.
We'll like people will invest and stuff like that." And they've done that and then pulled the rug, and then she's been stood there with her name on this coin that's been rug pulled. No one's going to be like, who's behind her? Who's actually
Yeah.
Everyone's just going to, there's the shit shield, and they're going to hold it up like Captain America.
Well, part of that though is like you've got to act in due diligence. Like if you're, so say for example, I was in the same position and I had some sort of fame, and someone came to me, "I want you to promote this," and I go, "Well, what exactly is it?" It's the same way. Like I've been in sales for quite a long time, and I was approached to sell a product on this island, and when they explained the product to me, it was like, that's thin air. Like I'm literally taking money off people for nothing. Like, and I was like, I'm not going to do that because I won't be able to put my head on on the pillow at night and sleep because and it's like
conscience.
Someone's throwing money at you, but have a deep think about what you're selling. Have a deep think about who you're selling to. Like, hold yourself accountable for things because I'm a strong believer in having integrity, doing the right thing, being kind to people, don't rip people off, because in the long term all that stuff comes back to you. Like I was listening to Joe Rogan today and we were talking about buy your jewelry in heaven. Like, it was a religious guy. Actually, he's a Christian. He's what's that doctor that's regularly on his show? Jordan Peterson. He was talking about
He's awesome.
He's cool guy,
buying your trophies or your treasures in heaven or in with God, so that and that how you do that by buying those things is by doing decent things for people, doing kind things, and that shit is way more valuable than whatever valuables you build up on here. And I'm not saying it's not nice to chase external things. I have nice things in my life.
Treat yourself,
but get them in the right way, and they hold way more value. Like I had money from anything I had back in the day when I was up to no good. Like I feck all, but like it never had any value because it was like you just took what you sold drugs or you did this or you did that and you got it instantly. But for me, it's like I believe anything that we gain today, it should be gained with integrity and kindness and decency, and it will have way more value. And and if you can't gain it, don't gain it by robbing or ripping people off, or and then when it gets to that level where you're talking about influencers that already have a load of money, and then they're scamming people even more, then they're not taking that for anything. They're not taking that to feed themselves. They're taking that out of pure greed. Like
greed. Greed is what it is. I've always said if I was to hit the jackpot and win millions, I would make sure that me and mine are set up for life, which you can do with a lot less than millions. And have a reoccurring, set this business up, set that. There's these, what's it called, self-sufficient businesses. Property, hire somebody to look after the property. Airbnbs, hire people to look after the Airbnbs. Okay, things go wrong, set aside this money for that. And then I would go about, you ever seen Zachary something on TikTok? And he'll go up to someone and go, "What's your dream, mate?" Yeah. And they'll tell him and that, or there'll be someone in a hard spot. "Oh, have you got a dollar? Have you got a dollar?" And these people that look like the middle class and behave the same way. "No, sorry," or like. But then you'll have these people who are on the bread line, below the bread line, that will be like, "Of course," okay. And they're the people then when you find them, they're the ones whose lives you change. Because people it's easy enough to sit and say it. I've said it so many times. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. I give more than I get.
Yeah.
With everything, because and it does hit me in the arse a lot. Sophie's witness of that. She's always at me. You're too nice. You do this. You do that. But I just believe if I've got it, you can have it. Like I'll help you. Like if it starts to take the piss and it starts taking that turn, then you turn with it and you don't stay gullible. Like keep going, keep taking from me. I'm not like that, but I'll help. I'll trust until I'm given a reason not to trust. Because I think when I was younger and stuff, growing up, I taught myself these morals and life lessons when I'd see something for myself. And that's why if you was to see me and know what I'm like and then look from where I came from and see what they're like, you'd be like, fucking hell, what happened to him on the way here, mate? Like, but it's just about building them life lessons in your head. Like you said, do everything with honesty and like I sound like peace and love, but just love as much as
Nothing wrong with that, like.
Yeah, peace and like obviously peace and love, but just love as much as you can. Like obviously I've got Ophelia. I think since having my baby girl, like don't get me wrong, I love Sophie, and you know anybody who's got a missus and then had a kid will know what I'm talking about. You love that woman with all your heart, and they are your number one. But then when that baby comes along, you've created something like this life. Like I was besotted with Sophie when she was pregnant because I don't know, it just adds much more of like a fine, detailed understanding of life when you see something you've created growing in this belly and it's in this sack, and then like 9 months later you're gonna have like an actual human thing that's got arms and legs and stuff. I don't know, my head's weird. And that love there.
You're not the first I've heard said. I have no kids, but when I hear that, I've heard that from many people. Like,
when you just hold them for the first time, like I was breaking down and everything. I was all over the shop, and then you put her on you and that, and like, it's just a different love. So before I had this was my point. By the way, if I go completely off track, bring me back.
This is what the conversation is about, man.
Yeah.
I that's why I set it up this way. I don't want it to be like, I asked this question and you give me the exact answer. I want it to be a conversation that flows and it can go anywhere, like, you know.
Yeah. Wait, before I had Ophelia, even when I was with Sophie, I wasn't necessarily like some daredevil, like I just do anything. But death didn't bother me. Like I wasn't scared. Like I could go out in public and I could record myself if I wanted to, or I could, like what I was saying before. Like I think having a child mortalised me so much. I did it a little bit too much. Hence the reason I'm actually in Tenerife now. Come over for a little bit of like a go away on my own, start doing things that are out my comfort zone and stuff like that, because I never had a comfort zone. Life was comfort. It was fine the way it was. It was chaos and hectic, and it probably wasn't healthy at the time, but I could manage it a lot more than now. Now when I go out as a family, like I'm not just, what a great day. I'm watching and I'm seeing because of the way everything is, you know, like horrible videos and stuff in the media of what happens to these girls. Obviously, was it Southport? I always get it mixed up. Was it Southport? Where them young girls in the UK got massacred.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift thing. You know, you see all that, and then you see, you know, random people going up on the street with to families and stuff and putting something sharp in a child for no reason while walking past them. You see all these things and these kids getting abducted, and you know, people getting, a few years ago, girls in nightclubs or in public places just getting jabbed with a needle, and the geezer would walk off and wait for it to drop. That sort of stuff, do you know what I mean? When all that goes through my head, and my mind moves a million miles an hour. And since having Philly, obviously I cared for Sophie when we went out, and I was always on high alert with her. But then now bring a child, a small child into the mix that's from you. Like I live in constant on edge. So then towards an hour into the whatever activity we're doing on the day, I'm exhausted. I really am, like, because I've used so much. Like that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I'm just.
Well, it does, because I'm not. I understand it, but I can't. I've never been through that myself. Colin's a father of 2 kids. I'm guessing would have similar kind.
Definitely. I wouldn't be that on edge, but I definitely see more danger in different things. Children are lively, like, do you know what I mean, at a young age, and then you always think, what if, you know. I do get it. Sorry, it's just something you said that stuck in my head. It's like, when before your daughter and that, you were like, You had no fear, really.
Genuinely no fear.
And it's because I'm always fascinated by the fact you ended up in the British military, right? Because
I'm not happy about it, by the way.
No, forget about whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
But the actual occupation, the job occupation, is quite. You need to have no fear, right?
Yeah.
And like, what was your thought process going to that? Because that always fascinates me when people volunteer, essentially, right, to go to that. Was it like a stable job or?
No, I had no idea. All that goes through your mind, and genuinely, the bones of it is, you get this 15-year-old, 13, 14, 15, I want to join the army, I want to join the army, I want to go and kill people, I want to go and do this, I want to go and do that, I want to save my country, I want to be a hero. It's not. You're a glorified fucking bin man. You know what I mean? I thank my lucky stars I never had to go to war, never had to go on a two-way range and have somebody shoot me, or have to be that guy because of what I've seen it do to people. People that are not here anymore.
There's a friend of mine that is not right in the head after it, like,
because it just destroys you mentally. And I think I don't have a fragile mind, but I have quite a strong mind. But I wouldn't ever want to question how I would handle that, how I would come back from it. So I'm very lucky. And people be like, "Oh, you was in the army, but you didn't go and do anything." A lot of people would join the army. If when we left Afghan, and there's little pockets of military.
Is that where you were mostly in Afghanistan?
No. I was in the only Middle Eastern place I've been to is Oman. Like I say, luckily enough, because do you know what I mean? As much when I was in. Don't get me wrong.
Right. Okay, so you weren't in Afghanistan.
No. But when I said we, I meant just
the army. Yeah.
Yes. God's sake. No, when they pulled out of Afghan and everything like that, and everything just was quiet, and there's not really anything to go. And I do genuinely believe the next time anything would kick off, touch wood it doesn't. But the next time anything did kick off, it'd be buttons. There would be no boots on the ground.
With drones.
Big red buttons. Yeah.
Drones and stuff.
And everybody would be finished.
Yeah.
Because obviously you've got this Ukraine Russia war going on and funding puppet pockets. Not the actual fighting. But you've got all that going on. But because they both... he wants to protect his homeland and Putin wants it.
Yeah.
He's not going to put anything big there.
Yeah.
Right next to home, do you know what I mean? They're committing war crimes, don't get me wrong, but they're never going to hit that big red button and make a big mushroom cloud go above them all, because it'll just...
It's more likely in Afghanistan, like...
Yeah, that's just a contact for a thingy. I think if it was a world war where we actually... America, Russia, whoever, it'd just be buttons now.
Yeah.
And once that first button gets pressed, we're all toast. Everything's toast. And that is... Everything comes full circle. Have you seen the... what's that theory?
I know exactly what you're on. That we were reset before. That a long time ago. There's actually a series on Netflix by a guy called Graham Hancock, which is called Ancient Apocalypse, which talks about like long before we thought humans existed, they existed on this planet, and they had a different direction of technology to us, whereas ours is kind of carbon dioxide based and oil based. Theirs was different, and that's how they built the pyramids. That's how a lot of those ancient structures were built, because they were built in a different way. That, like, because even when we look at them, and a lot of them we wouldn't even be able to build. If you look at the pyramids, I think the largest stone, we haven't even moved the stone as big as it on this planet. I think there was
with all the machinery and everything.
No, there's a stone I think it's half the size was moved. The largest stone in the world that was ever moved was half the size of the largest stone in the pyramids, and they had to build a specific Arctic truck to take it, like the biggest ever Arctic truck ever created, and they moved it now how many, about 100 miles, which is similar to where the rocks would have been, or the stones would have to be moved in the pyramids. And they had to clear so many roads to do it. And that's with today's technology. And then there's this, I can't remember the name, I'd have to look it up, but there's a structure, and I can't remember the exact location, it's killing me that I can't remember. And the stones are so close together, you can't even put a piece of paper in the gaps. Even in today's technology, we wouldn't be able to create something as good as that. And you're talking about, tens of thousands of years ago.
How long ago that was? Yeah?
Well, that's what they're talking. Like Graham Hancock is saying that what we thought was when humans started on this planet, he believes is not correct, and there's proof now with some of the discoveries that they've had that isn't correct. And there's this belief that that there was like an apocalypse at one stage, that we were hit by meteorites that zeroed us, like wiped out our technology, and that only a few of these people survived during that time, and they ended up going into the wilds. And who were in the wilds? And we're the same now. If we were wiped out, more than likely the people that would survive are the ancient tribes that still live in like the rainforests and stuff like that, because they can survive without all the technology. We'd be lost. And these people went into these, the theory is that they went into these woodlands, met these people and started educating them about technology, and that's where technology kind of gradually evolved on the planet now. That's a brief idea of what my understanding of what he was saying, but it's mad. Like, it is mad to think that, you know, I do think that at some stage we are going to get reset. And I do believe that if you look at the universe, scientists say that the chances, and I'll finish this rant now, the chances of planets similar to this planet within our own universe is like 100%, right? Similar to this planet. And the chances of them containing life like us, you know, like worst case scenario, 100% in another universe, and best case, like worst case scenario, 100% in another universe, best case scenario that there's creatures like us within this universe. And like, that's the mad thing. Like, if you think about it, the whole universe and everything is supposed, Milky Way, the whole universe and our galaxy, the universe is infinite. That's the concept, that this is infinite. So everything's infinite.
Yeah.
So if you think about like our planet and like the way things are made up, like this is me going on a mad thing, right? If you think about like how different creatures are made, they're made like atoms can only be put together in a certain like combination.
Yeah.
So there's a very high probability that somewhere in the universe there's another Mason, there's another Colin, there's another Daniel, and that's a theory that we're living out the exact same lives, and that in some way we're connected to them.
Like when you look into mirrors.
Yeah,
but like
that are just infinite amounts of us, and that it's mad. Like
my thing
my
is,
rant.
I believe in vibrations. So our atoms are all vibrating on one frequency, but then like you said about infinity, you split infinity, all these layers. I think everything is layers, isn't it? Because you can always, there's gaps between all the atoms. We can't see them, obviously, otherwise we'll fall to mush. But there's gaps in between all the atoms. We work on a frequency, but then on a different frequency, that could be then a different universe.
Yeah.
Because we just balance on this frequency here, but then there could be another Dan, another Colin on a different frequency, in a different world, in a different building, behaving the same way, doing the same things with my arms now, talking to each other, but just on a different frequency and a different.
That's too much to think about.
But it's we're not sat in a coffee shop, man.
You know, I often like thought about space, right? You know, when you watch something that it's infinite and it's infinite, and so on, my brain shuts down. It's too much to think about. Even when I go up to Mount 80, go up to Mount 80 at night time, like you see the galaxies with your naked eye. It's.
Have you done the stargazing tour?
No, I went up on my own.
Well, go up there and listen to what he has to say. That's mind blowing. Like the stuff he talks about, how far these stars are away, and some of them are already dead, and it's like
putting him into an existential crisis every time he thinks about this. Just a rock floating through space. What's going on?
My brain shuts down and says stop.
Yeah.
There's no need to think. There's no need to think about this. Like, this is useless, Colin.
Yeah.
But the thing is, right? So I had an experience recently where I was in an operation, and I told you about it before. Like, where I went, like, because I don't know if have you ever had an operation? You know what it's like. You've had an operation as well. You go to sleep and you're awake, but there's nothing in between.
There's no dream.
I've shared this before. Really it's mad. But I went to sleep.
It's more like death.
I don't know if death's like that. I think we go somewhere. And I'll tell you something that happened. I went to sleep, and then I was this orb, this light orb, in the middle of the universe, connected to everything. And everything made sense. And I was like, this is the most peaceful place. I had no pain, no anxiety, no nothing. I was connected to everything.
How does everything make sense? explain that? Like, in what way?
I don't know. It just made
Didn't
sense.
question anything.
Nothing was like, it was just, I just felt connected to everything. Like
Just peace.
yeah,
This was when they put you under, right?
oh no, went under, and then when I was under, I went into this place.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
And then this white light, not like this white light, I have to go to the white light. A white light, like a circle, with then the doctors talking to me. Oh, yeah. And they were like, Daniel. And all I could think was like, here, lads, leave me here. This is unbelievable. Like, I'm not coming back there. And they were like, no. And then I went black, and then I woke up. And then I wanted to puke everywhere because...
But I definitely think you were fucked. Like genuinely, I remember.
They put something else in there.
He had two.
No, man, I'm telling you.
He had two surgeries, right? From an outsider's perspective, not his, right? So he had two surgeries. One of them was 5 hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember he went back in to have the second one, second time, and I remember texting Sahar at like.
For anyone who doesn't know, Sahar's my missus.
9 o'clock at night. Usually, last time he was out at 3 o'clock in the day or something, video called me fucking.
Out of me
Out
box.
of his box or fucking whatever they were after giving him. Sorry for swearing so much.
That's all right, you can swear.
So,
just not so much.
But this time I text her, well, how did Dan get on? Because I hadn't heard from him. She goes, he's still in there. I was like, oh, shit. Still in there. You went in at 10 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yeah.
Didn't come over till what? No, you went, what time did you go in at? Like 11 or 12?
About 11:30, but then it was a 9-hour operation and it was only supposed to be 5. And the doctor told me that I'd lost a lot of blood. So
you could have, realistically.
I don't know. All I'm
nearly
saying
died.
is this is what I experienced. And this is one of my beliefs. I believe that we're souls like in a body experiencing a human life. And that when we die, that human experience ends and we become connected. We come back here, we choose our parents, we choose our direction. This is my belief. I believe that we're reincarnated. We don't only choose the life on this planet, but we choose lives on other planets to learn lessons, and we're ever evolving souls. There's young souls, old souls, people that are their first time on this planet. When we die, we're greeted. If we haven't been here before,
how are you a first time on this? How are
it's
you
not my first time.
No. You said some people it's the first time on their planet. How is that?
Because the souls are created. Yeah. So some souls are just young souls.
Head trip for me.
And then the souls, we come back, and as we evolve, there's actually a book by a guy called Michael Newton that kind of was the closest thing that in what I believe is called Journey of Souls. And the guy hypnotizes people. He's a therapist, and he hypnotizes them, and he brings them back into past lives. And then he decided to stop bringing them back into past lives, but bring them to the life between the past lives, which was like this journey of souls, that when you die, where you go, what happens, and what happens before you come back to this planet. And one of the things that happens before you come to this planet, you choose your parents. So you want to learn the mistakes. So you evolve. So say, for example, you were abusive person in your previous life, and you want to learn how not to be abusive anymore, then you might come back as someone who gets abused. Yeah. To learn what that experience is like, to be on the other side of it and grow. And then you're on this planet to learn your lesson, or in this life to learn your lesson. And when you've learned this lesson, or you're going to die and you haven't learned a lesson, which means you have to come back and learn the same lesson, but maybe you've learned this lesson, then you die, and then you're evolving to learn your next lessons. And it's like a whole school of souls, and your soul evolves for infinity. Like,
Want to hear my theory?
Yeah.
Get ready for this shit. Title it The Smoker's Fault.
Oh.
Just maybe that's the universe telling me I shouldn't tell my theory.
No, definitely tell it. We'll pop it back in. And we're back. Mason decided to use his army training to pull the mic clean out. Anyways, we were about to go into your theory, so I'm interested.
I'm excited, and then I'll give you my theory.
Yeah.
How about that?
Theories. That was off Brian Cox on here.
Yeah. Anyone want some more water?
Yes, please.
Before we get enthralled by this, look at me, how rude I am, and pouring my own water first. Disgrace. Do you want a bit of your big F me, I'm banging? You know.
Shout out.
Yeah, big shout out. Our new business coming up, so no product placement there. Just a moment before we hear the theory of Mason.
Right.
Let's go.
Do you know what DMT is?
I do.
Yeah.
You know what DMT
I do
Do
indeed.
you understand the basic experience.
See if you can get that mic a little bit closer to you so that we don't miss your...
I understand that it's a very geometrical experience.
So the DMT universe, many people have been there. I've never been. I do want to do it, but not yet. Many people say that they see the same.
Yeah, I've seen a study that was done on it.
Yeah.
Building on what you said about we are souls in bodies, I do believe that we are a ball of energy.
Yeah.
Of kinetic, whatever. Ball of energy, and we're in a vessel that we operate like a pilot operates a plane. And these DMT universe, people are going to the same thing. I believe it's connected. You know, you said just connected to everything.
Yeah.
Everything just binds you. So, and because we're all individuals, you know, you come from a different walk of life to me. Let's go and get somebody we don't even know.
Yeah.
Put him under. He would come out and say the same thing you said.
Yeah.
So can't describe it. It's this weird sort of snake-shaped whatever. That's his representation of it to anybody else, as will yours be. So as much as you are different, you get connected to DMT. You go to this DMT universe, as it's called.
Yeah.
I believe that each ball of energy, we will cycle through different things. So we'll be a human for a bit. We can go. I'm not going to go into that much because I don't know, and I like not knowing. I believe that it'll let it be a mystery. Don't try and solve it because that's boring. But all these balls of energy go to this DMT universe, this wherever it is, whatever it is, and we're all there. And then this person visits, and it takes them, and they visit this place, and they see these normal ones, these thingies. These could just be representations of what we can perceive that shape to be. They don't know what the shapes are. It's like you said, geometric. They don't know how to pinpoint it. I saw a giraffe. It's not a giraffe. I don't know what it was, but it looked like a giraffe.
Yeah.
All this, your mind makes sense of something when you can't make sense of it yourself. So it could be that, yeah, it does look like a snake, but it's the shape of this energy that's in this thingy. And what I believe is, oh yeah, but you're gonna, well, how big is it? Well, we don't know, because you have to think about it. How fucking mind-blowing are you going to be if you go into this DMT universe and see a snake? You're not going to be looking behind it to see if you can see your nan for it. Do you know what I mean? That passed away years ago. You know, you're not going to be bothered about looking behind. The more the visits or that introduction to it, that little thingy, and people like Paul Smith, I don't know if you've seen him talk about it, and he's somebody that I idolize. I love him.
The comedian.
Yeah. And he spoke about it, and it was like, he did it, and it was good. I left it, and I had no anxiety, zero anxiety. Went out to the finger because it was like they knew me better than I knew myself, and just put everything, compartmentalized everything for me, and made everything feel like, what am I stressing for? And it was like that. And he said he did it again, and he did it again to try and get more. He went his thingy, and he said that there was a time that he went, the last time that he went, one of the spirits, he said it was literally like your mum having a go at you and telling you off. It was like, you come in here too much, taking the piss, pack it in. And it was much more of a sinister experience than it was the first time. And people who go there will have different experiences. They'll have a sinister one where it's scary, and I believe that's what happens if you're a bad person. And I believe that they because they know you and they're all connected, you won't have to speak to the same ones that everybody else sees. Yeah. As I said before, everything's connected. Everything comes into one. Not even one. Just like we said about infinity. Yeah. Everyone just sings off the same song sheet. No right from wrong. That's all you need to do. No right from wrong and this, that, and the other. And if they can know, everyone's in tune. They know if you're holding something back. You want to come here for thinking, oh, well, do you not remember when you did this, that, and the other? Like, you're a piece of shit. Go and deal with that. Stop doing bad stuff, and good things will happen to you. That sort of stuff is what people come back and recount. And obviously, I just think that's quite an interesting theory for me. So I believe that I respect anybody who has a religion, who is religious. 100% believe in who you want to believe in. Be who you want to be. It goes for everything. I don't care. I'm happy. You go and be happy. Go and believe in whoever you want as a person. But that is my view on it. Where I'll let somebody have religious things. I'm never going to want to get a picket sign and go and rebel against it.
Your view, just to clarify, because it's not just DMT, you've got like ayahuasca and stuff like that, which brings you to those places.
It's a vastly different thing.
Yeah, but it's a similar concept of, like, you're on about being connected to a spiritual world through use of hallucinogenic.
I don't know if they're hallucinogenic.
But it's psychedelic, hallucinogenic.
Psychedelic. Yeah. So, but to evolve from that hallucinogenic is connecting you to the place that you will go when you die. Is that what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Not so much when you die. I think like it's hard to explain. I think it's just more of where does everything rest? Where if you just stop and just turn off,
Yeah.
and you die, fair enough. But what happens to the energy? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I believe that's what it is. It goes off into a big ball.
So the concept then is, just to clarify the idea, because it's similar to what I just said, but with
Yeah,
use
that's
of
what I mean. It's
so
similar.
DMT is like so the concept of DMT is when you take that, whatever that, be it DMT or ayahuasca or microdosing mushrooms, they give you an outer body experience where your soul heads off to a different, or your energy heads off
Vibrations change.
Yeah.
Remember what I said before?
Yeah.
So now you're in a different thingy.
So it goes
no
off.
Longer in a physical thingy, your energy is shifted then. Still breathing on Earth.
Yeah.
Still led there breathing, but it takes you off then into this wondrous...
So when you die, your body, your energy, that vibration, you head off.
You stay dreaming.
Okay. Okay.
Do you know though? There's a common thread in these theories, which is heavy drugs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like DMT is. I think it's like an 8 or 9 minute. Is it? It lasts for 8 or 9
I think
minutes.
I don't know. This is what I mean. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I'd have to experience it myself. I
People
could go back and be like, by the way, get me back on your podcast, because all that what they were saying was bollocks.
No, I've seen where people, some guy was studying it and he gave it to loads of different people and they all came back seeing the same things. So I don't know where I've seen that, but I've seen it somewhere. I have, like, in terms of that kind of stuff, I don't know, man.
They're mapping out the DMT universe in
For
London.
sure, yeah.
They're
That's-
keeping people.
That's actually
On a
what I've
drip.
seen. That's actually what I've seen. Yeah.
So they're trying to map out the
piece it
universe and
together.
get as much of an idea of it as they can.
That's mad, no?
putting loads of people under in DMT.
Need to look that up.
Yeah.
What's your belief, Carl?
Mine's very bleak, actually. I would love to believe in, like, that there's another place, you see your parents, whatever it is, you know what I mean? But I was always of the belief, like, I struggle when it comes to critical thinking and afterlife, you know, or any other aspect of it, like, you know what I mean? Like you, I respect anyone that anything anyone wants to do, no matter what it is, and give a shit. It doesn't affect me.
Peace and love, man.
Yeah, man. I just don't.
Yeah, as long as they're not harming anyone.
Even
That's
all
the
my
most
life,
important
like,
thing,
it
you
never
know what I
really
mean?
bothered me what anyone done or what they believed in or anything like that. And when I meet religious characters, like, I used to hit the Hare Krishnas in London with so many questions when I'd meet them on the street, and I bought a book off them, which they told, it led me to believe it was free, and then I was walking away, he asked me for a tenner. But like,
look man on the front. They're trying to give you a bracelet.
I love listening to it, like, for years. Well, not for years, maybe for a few years. I watched every religious documentary I could, like, just to see it, you know what I mean? Just to see what people and why they believe in it and stuff. And like, the one person I ever mostly resonated with all that stuff was comedian Ricky Gervais.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
love him.
He just died,
When it was on
and that's it. Like,
Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien, the one with the big head,
yeah,
ginger hair. He said, and it just what I will repeat to people when they ask me about religion. So, do you believe in God?
I believe in God, yeah.
That's
but
fine.
not a religion. I'm not religious.
Yeah, I'm not leading you into anything. So you believe in God.
I know this one.
Yeah, you know. Do you believe in the 99 others, Ganesh and all these others? And they'll say, no, I believe there's one true God. It's Christ. And it's like, okay, that's fine. But why you don't believe in 99 gods, but you're angry at me for not believing in one more?
Yeah.
And I just think that was just like a mic drops in a bit, mate, because it is right. You could be a God-fearing man, you know, Jesus Christ, our one Lord and Savior. Go to another country where they believe in a different God and tell them your God's not real, but mine is. You're doing exactly what I do to you about your God to somebody else.
it largely depends where you're born.
Yeah.
You know, what you believe.
So here's a question. If you see something beautiful, yeah, something fantastic, that, I don't know, the most beautiful waterfall in the world, right? And you're led there by a certain person, they bring you to that waterfall. Or another different person from a different group brings you to that waterfall, and it's the same beautiful waterfall. And then a different group from a different group of people brings you to that beautiful waterfall. Does it really matter what person brings you to the waterfall.
No.
What's more important is the beauty of the waterfall.
Yeah.
And it's the same, right? The waterfall is God. The people bring you a religion. So for me, I believe in God, and I don't care if you believe in God or not. That's completely your own thing. And it doesn't matter to me. I think that all religions can bring you to God.
Yeah.
But what's more important is not the religion, but God itself and your connection
morals,
with God.
yeah.
Yeah. And your connection, and your connection with God. So for me, I'm not religious. I don't have any religion. I wasn't baptized.
Yeah.
My parents were hippies, funny
You
enough.
nearly was a while ago.
You know. Was I?
Yeah, you were going to head to the born again Christian.
I thought about going to the Christian thing, see what.
Sophie's actually speaking about getting into it all, and not getting into it like a new trend, but like just she says that she thinks she's going to read the Bible, and obviously at first it's like Bible bash, but I said to her like I will support her 100% if she wants to go down that thing, because like you said, it's not about the religion. It's not saying there's a big bloke in the sky pulling strings. It's about that gives someone belief in it, belief in its faith and whatever, and you know, they follow the letter of the Bible, they're going to be good people. You know, there's no two ways about it. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it, or I don't sit and question it, and I won't sit and if someone said I believe in God, I won't actually let me. Do you know what I mean? I'm not about that. Like, that's cool, man. Good on you. I'd never try and tear it apart. And like, why though? What makes you think that he's real and all this? No, I don't believe in that. I think that's.
But it's okay to have that conversation and not be. I think it's so
like
important.
In this setting, I mean, when someone goes, I'm Christian or I'm Buddhist or whatever, it's not immediately. Let's get into it. In a setting like this, it's fine to speak about it because it's not catching anyone off guard and it's not done maliciously. Do you know what I mean? Like some people can be. Yeah,
kind of make a show of the fact that you're at some level of belief, and a lot of people with belief and with that kind of discipline of having a connection with something more powerful than themselves. And you know, as long as for me it's a kind, caring being that, you know, wants the best for you and the people around you, and that's what my God is. It's just my own personal thing, and for me, the way I connect is not. It's on many levels. First connection for me is in the morning, silent meditation, 10 minutes every morning. The second connection is how I conduct myself with people. Like so, I invite spirituality and God or a good level of being into my life by those moments when I have to make a decision. Is this the kind way, or is this me getting what I want through whatever means possible? Like so it boils down to, for example, when I'm looking, you know, I might owe someone money and they've forgotten about it, and I just say, well, they've forgotten, I won't give them the money. Or is the real spiritual path is, you know, is to be that way when no one's looking. So okay, bro, I owe you this, or you know, or you see someone do something for you, or you see someone, you do something kind for someone that helps them along the way. That's for me real connection with God. You can talk about it, theorize it, you can read the Bible, you can read all those things, but it's how you action that stuff in your life that really, for me, that really counts on a level of how spiritual you are. Like, you know what I mean? You can have, when you look back to the history of the Catholic, you know, I'm just taking the Catholic Church in Ireland, you know what I mean? And you look back at the priests were supposed to be godly men, and they were doing horrific things to people.
Got carried away a
you
little
know.
bit, didn't they? They lost the run of themselves.
Yeah, no, but like they were just power hungry sickos, like some of them, like, and that's not all of them, because it was I know some very spiritual priests, you know, really kind priests, but you're not spiritual unless you conduct that stuff in your life.
So in every area. About what you just said there about even if your mate forgets that you owe him 20 quid, paying him. So like I said, I'm not religious. I don't personally believe in God, but I hold myself by them morals. Yeah. By even if it wasn't my friend, you know, there's
exactly, anyone.
I live by. I've never been able to be the C word. Do you know what I mean? I've never been able to do that and be happy with doing that unless there's a reason behind it. I can always everyone you meet who's that way inclined, they've always got that switch that they can press and turn into that heartless person and nasty and whatever and match your energy. But never will I ever be the first to create that rift, to create that problem. That I was about to say problem and drama, and it became that problem now. It's an American mid podcast.
Calm down, bro.
But yeah, like just by holding yourself in that high regard, where I can make sure that I go sleep at night. Not that I don't struggle, but I can make sure that I sleep soundly, knowing that I've got nothing on my conscience. If I've got, that's what I mean. It's why me and Sophie have been together so long, you know, and because I haven't got, I've got too much of a conscience. I can't hold secrets. You know what I mean? I can't. You know, it's nails trying to keep good surprises and good secrets. Is fine. And even then, it's nails because it's just like I want to tell her everything. And when it's like her coming over here to surprise me this past weekend. Yeah. It's killing her because, like, you don't know, I'm just that way inclined where I've just got to say it how it is. I've just got to tell you because I don't care. I care if it hurts your feelings, but I don't care enough to see the end result if I didn't say anything. So I will always speak my mind no matter how much trouble I'm going to get into, how much you might not like me for it. Because just honesty genuinely is the best policy. Like, no matter what.
So I want to rewind to something that you mentioned earlier on that I kind of marked in my head to come back to. You said that despite where you've come from, you conduct yourself in that way. Yeah. Is it okay to ask you this question? I want to ask you, like, where did you come? Like, your childhood, what was that like?
Yeah. So, first and foremost, whenever I tell someone, is that everyone's got their own crosses to bear. Yeah. Everyone's got their own dramas, their own. I say sub story, not that it's a sub story, but everyone's got their own sub story. It's your story. Yeah, their origin story of how it all happened, and it's about how we manage and cope with it and deal with it all bit by bit as we grow old, and that's how you can find that little smidge of happiness, because no one ever is 100% completely happy. But when I was younger, it was a lot of terror at school, terror at home, not really getting an escape from it. There was always something wrong, or, you know, I was always the butt of the joke in a way. But don't get me wrong, because some of them might see this who have built bridges backwards. And well, we'll tell them straight to their face, like, it's forgiven, like everything is forgiven. The bridges are built because of the effort you've shown when you realised. Because, you know, growing up, getting a crack and getting filled in was normality for a lot of young people. Like, that was how you got dealt with. There was never, like now, if someone moved a hair on my daughter's head, they'd never see daylight. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel about my child. I mean, a lot of people didn't have that when they was growing up. A lot of people were seen as the stress ball, you know. Yeah. That and always put down to just being a naughty kid. So for me, I'd go to school, and I was that kid who I wasn't the biggest. I was tiny. I was so frail. I was like a little McDonald's straw. And I just get terrorized for all numerous different things, you know, buck teeth, ginger hair, whatever it was, freckles, whatever it was, they found something and always used it, and I'd get filled in, and I would never shut up. I would always, that would nearly hurt that, mate. That sort of level of mind, like, it hurt, don't get me wrong, get filled in a toilet and I've just had my head bounced off a urinal, but, you know, I'm still going to give it back verbally and embarrass him in front of his pals while he's trying to fill me in, like, and you see the rage and whatever. And then at home, I never spoke back because, you know, they were big boys. They didn't mess around. And that was how it sort of was daily basis. There was always good times. Everyone's always good times. And I think where I'm at a level now where I don't mind speaking about when someone asks, because I believe that everyone should speak. All blokes, everybody, men and women obviously, but blokes especially at the minute, because I hate going on Facebook because every 3 scrolls is someone I know has gone now and lost that battle. So I believe that speaking up is fine. So I'll always speak about it openly and honestly with anybody who asks. But there was good times, and I think what trauma is a delicate thing, because there's all different manner of things where it can put a block on it for you. So then when you speak about it, don't worry, I'm not going to start blubbering, but when you speak about it, it starts unlocking them feelings again for people. So they shut down again. They don't want to open up about it. And I believe you just should throw it all out, get it all out. Verbal diarrhea all over, mate, because I'd much rather you sit there and chew my ear off and get a better understanding of you and how you work and how you tick inside to be able to find the best way to help you. Because as soon as people stayed and got to know me past the ADHD brain, 1,000 miles an hour, didn't know what I was doing, I was up and I was down, and I never knew where the line was. I was making you laugh, you was laughing, I've got to keep going now to keep making you laugh, but then you stop laughing and it gets boring. But I'm like, they hate me. Do you know what I mean? So it's about finding how somebody takes, and once people stayed and that comfortability was built there, like I'm comfortable with you guys coming over, like however many times we have. It's that relaxedness. So people got to know me as I got older, and that's when I started to relax more and actually make more friends. Growing up in that sort of environment, home and school, I never found a clique, never found a group. So I was very much up and down, up and down, up and down. And then that sort of fizzled out. So like, obviously we all got dealt with, punished in different ways. You know, some kids got, you know, their Nintendo DS took off them, or they were grounded or whatever. And then some of us got licks for it and stuff. But when I joined the army, I struggled still. And there was a time where I actually did try and take myself off. It was 10th of September. I think it was 2017. And my head was just gone. I think I tried to see army doctors, and I will out the person who said it, but I'm not going to say his name. I basically went to the mental health people in the army.
Yeah.
Told them the smidgens of stuff, because I never unload it all, because it's just too much. And I wanted to see what they did with it first when I told them the gentle stuff. And straight away it was like, right, okay. And I was going through all these assessments and stuff, and they said, we can give you a diagnosis, put you on medication. I was like, right, wait, let me go back and speak to my chain of command. They wanted to diagnose me with CPTSD, which is a complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Right, okay. So from kids, not like the veteran stuff. I'd never try and, been there, done that, nothing like that. You know, it's a different thing completely. And they wanted to put me on antidepressants, and this was 2017. And when...
How old were you?
Fresh 18, I think.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know,
Kid, no?
Yeah, I know. Like I said at the start, though, there's people out there whose problems far trump mine, and I'll never sit there and boo-hoo, woe is me.
Yeah, but it's okay. Like, so one of the things, like, and sorry to cut.
No, you're fine.
So one of the things for me is like, it's a real line to kind of minimize whatever your trauma is. Like, so everyone's trauma is different, and it can be elevated or less or more or whatever it is. And I think that sometimes we kind of say, well, you know, I don't want to come across as like my trauma's, you know.
Yeah.
But your trauma is your trauma, and it has a rippling effect throughout your life. And I think it's important to just acknowledge that it doesn't matter what, you know, other people think about what you share about your trauma. Your trauma is your trauma. I've had trauma as a child, and I've sought therapy for it, and my trauma might not be as bad as someone else's, or it could be worse someone, but it's still my trauma, and it has an effect on your life. Yeah. And if you don't address it, it will continually have an effect for the rest of your life on the way you respond and the way you act things. So I guess I would never minimize anyone's trauma, whether it's little or large, unless it's something like silly, like I lost my cup there yesterday or whatever, you know what I mean? You know, something like that. But when you're talking about like trauma that's obviously from childhood stuff, it has its effect. Like, anyways, to continue on, sorry, that was
don't say sorry. That's the whole point of this, isn't it? Yeah. So the thing with trauma and childhood stuff is you spend a short amount of time living the pain, and then you're going to spend the rest of your life talking about that pain. And I think that struck me really hard. And I think your best therapist is yourself. That's my personal view. Yeah. I tried it. I tried mood therapy, some all different methods of things, because what I was saying about they said we can give you a diagnosis and put you on the medication. Yeah. I took that back to my chain of command, and my platoon sergeant, I won't say his name, but if he is, you know, you little prick. This was 2017. This was when mental health wasn't a thing. It wasn't a thing. It was attention seeking. And so went through all that, had my issues, and he turned around to me and said, "You are no use to the army if you can't pick up a weapon. You're gone if you do this." I wouldn't have been, but that's how I believed it at the time. Because if they put you on antidepressants, you can't handle the rifle. Yeah. And obviously at the time, I was a private, so I would have had to do guard duty and stand on the gate with a rifle, and go on exercise and use a rifle, go on the ranges and use a rifle to be able to keep myself as a soldier and behave as a soldier should. I am sort of glad that I didn't go on them, so props to you for that, prick. But I am glad I didn't go on them, because I've heard a lot of people say about how it makes you feel better, worse before it makes you feel better. And then if you're ever caught short, like I couldn't come to Tenerife without making sure I had all of my things. I've got, I'm away for 2 weeks. I've been away from home for 2 weeks. And it's killing me now, by the way. But I would have had to make sure I've got a supply. And if I lose them, I didn't want that. I didn't want that struggle, but I've learnt that later on. So that's how it was dealt with in the army aspect of it. It was sort of shut your mouth, be seen, not heard sort of thing. So then it was like, then I was a question mark, like an anomaly of a kid. Like I would do things that I knew I was going to get in trouble for if I got caught. But like I said earlier on about that, not caring. I just didn't care. I was never careful. Or just, I'd always be the lizard that did something, got caught for it and was in trouble again. Oh, it's Boyle is in trouble again. And I started getting used to being in trouble so much that it became natural. And with the army, it goes on your records, it goes on your SJRs and your MPARs and these yearly reviews of you from your chain of command. And I was just reading through them. This was when I had my little click moment, and I started building these own morals up in my own head and being better than where I came from and understanding why it was wrong and really starting to work through it all, like as my own therapist. And I was just like, I need to make a change here. So, but don't get me wrong, it didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen in 2017. It definitely didn't. It was years later when it all started to click, and I was like, I want to rank up. I want to go and do a promotion course and earn more money. I'm being on the level that I should be at, and whatever. And just working my way through from joining the army, having the struggles, going through all the mental health stuff. I still live with it now. I carry it with me, but I don't drag it with me. I carry it with me. I compartmentalize. I've got one hand on this bag, one hand on this bag, and got one on my head. It's balanced.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you know what I mean? There will be dips and there'll be times. Actually, I don't know if you saw it on my TikTok. I had a little episode when I was back in the UK. I had a little moment in my room, and I just started typing stuff on my notes, and I just started chucking it all on this thingy, and wrote it all out. And I read it out on the TikTok. I'd had to tidy it up a little bit because in that moment there's just nothing. It's just words are spelt wrong, and it was just getting it all out. And I did that, and Sophie was like, you need to post it, like it could help somebody. So I was like, right, okay. Because I was saying, I'd love to do something like that, but I don't want to take away from my positiveness on TikTok rather than just bringing somebody down. If you're having a bad day, I don't need to read that. But then she was like, well, no, because what if it helps them to be like, because people see this 30 seconds or a minute of somebody online and think, so the boy who came over, I was telling you about, Reese. I never met him before Tenerife. We just chatted on TikTok. And he's come over to do some TikToks and do some filming and stuff. And he just said to me, like, I'm so glad, I'm so glad you're the way you are. Like, I was dead worried, me and my missus was dead worried when I come over and how you were going to be, having followers and being like that. And like, I understand where it's coming from because I've met influencers. I know what some of them can act like. And I know that these silver spoon rammed straight up their arse and stuff like that. But sorry, as I go off on tangents, but that video on there is like a little brief insight into behind the TikToks, because it is deep. It is like one of them, like Jesus Christ. But I also believe that Sophia's right. Like it could be someone could be sat there like seeing all happy TikToks, so they're just sat there miserable, and then they see that one, and it's like a little bit of more of a relation. Do you know what I mean? It's more relative than.
Well, sharing allows people, in my opinion, to connect. I mean, we were only talking about Colin was talking. He shared something in a setting with people a while back, a few days ago, and just by being in himself, he helped someone else. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I've said it to Colin as that has immensely helped someone in their life without you even realizing it. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes I can, when I'm really open, like. This channel used to be called the MacMaster, and I used to do a lot of like different videos, but I'm always really open about the fact that I'm a recovering drug addict, that I come from a background where I was, broken physically, mentally and spiritually, and and that I have been through times throughout the time when I got clean that have also been hard. Like, the loss of my parents was traumatic for me. It was a very, very hard time. Yeah. And that we all go through those times that are painful, that we do get lost, we do doubt ourselves, we do get things that like make us feel like, we're not good enough or whatever it is, and that it's okay sometimes to feel like that. Don't don't hold on to it and dive into it and absorb it and be, you know, kind of lost in this self-doubt or whatever it is. And if you are stuck in that, reach out to someone and look for help. I guess it's important. Like, I think it is important that you share that stuff. I think it is.
I think me and you are very lucky in a sense. Like, I used to I need to speak up a bit. Last time I was on this, people always say to me every time, don't talk loud enough.
Project your voice.
I'm going to project my voice to that wall over there. No, like, so me and Dan come from the same kind of background. I gave up drugs when I was 23. I'm 42 now. 23, just after my 23rd birthday, and into rehab for the 4th time at that age. Like, but like, we learned to talk, to live, to survive. Learn the importance in there, like, because I would have been, I was going to end up in jail, like,
or dead.
No, but I was literally at that time about to go to jail. Only I was going into rehab.
Yeah.
Stupid shit, not never serious, like just accumulation of being a drug addict, like on a day-to-day basis. And then like so much like group settings and being able to talk to people. Like, I remember coming out of rehab, right, and I was 24 and I discovered the internet. I never even knew the thing existed. That'll tell you how it wasn't like it is now, but you had a lot of cool shit like video calling and stuff. I could not believe you could video call someone. It's like, this is nuts. And I remember going on to Skype and people just text each other randomly on Skype years ago, you know, like any of the messengers, and chatting to girls or wherever. And you're going, no, I was a drug addict, but I'm clean now. You know what I mean? I'll be blocked. Like, instantly blocked. But to me, it was like, so delighted, you know what I mean? And just that being that open, and how many conversations I've had with people over the years where I just talk about myself and then they open up, like, and tell about their own struggles, you know what I mean? Their own, especially with alcohol in Ireland. Like, I'm going back years ago now, like when you'd meet people for whatever it is, work, whatever, just randomly, socially, like, and say, no, I don't drink, you know what I mean? And I don't drink. Why? Because I couldn't help myself. I took the piss. I would say across the line, right? And once you cross the line with drinking and drugs, you can't really go back. Like, there's no middle ground. Like, you know what I mean? And the amount of times people that just open up and go, kind of need to slow down a bit myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And leads on to like, God, I've had so many. I was only saying to Dan the other day, like, when I moved back from Australia, through different groups and stuff like that, the amount of people. I used to go back to the rehab that I got clean in, and do talks in it, you know, like every so often. And like when I came back from Australia, I'd been gone out of Ireland for so long, nearly 7 years, because I spent time in London, I spent time in Australia, and then ended up back in Ireland just before COVID. And the amount of people that said to me, like, not the amount, I think it's about 5 or 6 people that said to me in a short space of time that they ended up going to university because of what I shared. And do you know, and it's like, it's incredible, like, when you think about it. You know, like, being able to just sharing your own story. I wasn't going in and saying, you should do this, you should do that. I've never done that. It's just my own path, my own journey in life, and being open to share that with people. And like you said, the positive impact it has.
You don't believe it, like,
connection though, isn't it? It's to be relative. If you can't connect with somebody who lives in Dubai and drives supercars every day and stuff like that, but a guy who's, I mean, for them, the people in that room, they're not going to connect with somebody that comes in and waving a flash watch in front of their face and talking about how many millions of pounds he's got. They're going to connect with the geezer who's been sat in that seat with them.
Sit in the seat, you know, done the fucking time in there. Like,
but it's like that story about, you ever hear that story about, there's a guy and he's stuck in a well, and he's stuck in a well, he's screaming for help, and first of all, this doctor goes by and he writes him a script and throws it down to him. He'll be all right. He's still stuck in a well. And then he's still shouting out of the well, and then this rich dude comes along, writes a check, throws it down, and he's got this check, but it's no good to him. It's stuck in a well, and all of a sudden he keeps shouting, "I'm stuck in this well." This guy jumps down. He says, "Bro, I've been in this well. I can show you the way out." Like, you know, and it's that concept of like, people who have been through that same shit and understand the torture of what it's like, or whatever it is you've gone through. and they've come through that, can guide you through that and bring you to a place where it's like, you know, we're going in a direction that's like, I can help you, bro. I've been, I've been there, man. I know what it's like to like feel like the only direction is using. I know what the darkness is like, where you feel like you're just a failure. Like, you know what I mean? That you're just like, no one will ever, you know, you're just going to end up in jail or dead, and that's the reality. And there's no way out.
Without,
But I think you're really good at like guiding people. You know, like help. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
My.
You think you're not, but you are.
No. I know what I'm good at, right? In that sense. So mine would be my story.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What you can do, what you can achieve.
Yeah.
Like in terms of getting clean, right?
Yeah.
I had an incredible. I always say I lived 4 lives. I definitely did. Like, you know what I mean? In 10 years of getting clean, the first 10 years, I definitely lived 4 lives. But like me just telling my story is oh shit, you can do that. It's like when I was in rehab, these guys used to come in every Saturday and talk, right? And we're going on about climbing volcanoes in Hawaii, you know. And I was like, that fucking cunt is lying to me. Like, he's trying to make you feel better. Coming the next week, another guy was husky dogging across Alaska, like, and they're the 2 scenarios I really remember, because I genuinely thought like that this is this guy.
Yeah.
And then to go on and live like and climb multiple volcanoes, like, you know what I mean, and do stuff like that and go back and share it with people. Like it is, that's my strength, is sharing my experience really more so. I've seen you with people, like, and you have an incredible story too, but I see the way you articulate, like if someone is trying to get clean, you're able to tell them how you done it. Yeah. Like, and give them
guidance. Yeah, well,
guidance,
I think it's probably like for me, like so you guys know, like, well, you know, I'm successful and I've been quite, and you're now, we 2 of us are quite successful in business, and I am in a position where I've never thought I would ever be financially, like, because I come from like quite a, you know, my mother and father had very little money growing up. In fact, they moved to the west of Ireland as hippies and had a house with no electricity, and we used to have to fill the bath from, you know, buckets and stuff like that, and you know, we grew up.
It's incredible, no?
It is mad when I think about my father.
Like.
No, they moved over, and it wasn't even a drive up to the house. They had a donkey and a cart. That's the mad thing.
But like,
you know?
I grew up the same time as you, like, and it was like I grew up in a council estate. I lived with my auntie a lot when I was younger, like, you know what I mean. But we had like running water and stuff like.
Yeah,
I lived with my auntie when I was younger.
We had goats and stuff like that, like, and they were looking for that. They wanted to break away from society and
like be self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient. They had their own, like, grew their own vegetables.
Now, right?
Well, it's cool now. Back then it was like, who are these weirdos? You know what I mean? Like, and in the west of Ireland, they were
being English in the west of Ireland.
English, long hair, hippies, you know, taking LSD and, you know, smoking a bit of weed. It was like, who are these people? Like, they called them the Little Johns, which was a gangster group that was known back then. Because the funny thing is, when my dad died, like, I remember the funeral, and it was like all these local farmers, like, you know what I mean? The people that, you know, their parents would have been looking at my parents thinking, who are these weirdos? You know what I mean? And they all turn up to respect my father, like, and I say that I get a bit emotional, but I remember just like the farmer coming up, and this farmer from the local area, and these are lads like that would be like looking at these going, who are these lads? And he said to me, I remember my father went up to your dad had long hair, and he says to your dad, he said, will you ever cut that hair, will you? And he goes, I will, and he says, I will when there's world peace. That was my father's response. And he says, well, it'll be long forever. And it was like, this is, my parents were like this ideology. They were very much, but I guess kind of in a position now, like the thing, like I enjoy the fruits of my labor and the fun things that I get to, you know, like the fact that I can go out for a really expensive meal and not think about the money. We can go away, and like myself and Sahara went away for 5 days to a really nice hotel, and I wasn't thinking, oh Jesus is going to bust a bank doing this. That's a really nice feeling to have. But for me, like when you talk about guiding people, one of the most heartwarming things for me that I get to see is I go to a 12-step meeting and I see someone come in there broken, like, I mean, like ready to just give up and die, like, and then all of a sudden you see them, the light goes on in their eyes. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden they've got
I
this.
love the calmness you see people get.
Yeah,
They,
and
they mightn't realize it because even
they're coming in and they're mental, and all of a sudden there's just this peace starts to come over them.
peace
Like.
starts to come. Like,
And they get things like they start to go out and they get a job. I'll never forget this particular girl, Sharon. I won't go into the details of her share because it's obviously anonymous, but it was actually in a public setting where she shared. It was at an open meeting at a convention. And I remember she lived in a cave when I met her, like. And then just her description of I go home, I turn on the tap, water comes out.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's how simple it is. That's an amazing gift
Yeah.
to have that, to go home and from living in. She says, I leave my home, the doors are locked. I go home and I'm 90% sure my stuff will still be there.
Yeah.
When I left my cave, I wasn't sure I'd come back to my stuff again. Like, you know what I mean? And it was like these little things when you hear them and you just think, you know, that's an amazing thing to be able to, for me to be able to sit there and bear witness to someone's transformation from this and be a small part of it, to be able to be the person that can, you know, maybe share a little about how I got clean or what to do. That for me is really important. You know? I guess, I guess kind of understanding, I guess your childhood was in some ways points, you know, the thing that I wanted to ask you was, have you ever seek therapy, or are you your own therapist? I mean, I've done a lot of different therapies. I've done EMDR. I don't know if you've ever done EMDR.
No, I don't know this.
It's like, I can't remember the exact what it is. It's basically the idea of it is it's either with lights or tapping.
Yeah.
Or they use it for it's actually,
pencil.
Go on.
Or
Or pencil.
Do you know what it's kind of like, right? It's very similar. I only done it a couple of times now, but I couldn't connect with the woman that was doing it at all, and my brain just wasn't. I've tried a few therapies. I done grief counselling when my mum died. Danny put me onto it. It was the best thing I ever done.
Yeah, that really helped me as well get through the grief.
But the EMDR, it's kind of like what to do in Scientology. I could be wrong, right? It's where you keep reliving the trauma or keep thinking about it until it loses its power.
Yes, the descent. So I was
Desensitizing.
abused as a child, like by a friend of the family, and it always had like. I don't want to go into that, but what I want to explain, like that, it's like when you throw a rock into a lake, it ripples, and that rock was initially planted in my life at a stage, and it rippled, and what it does is it affects different situations in my life, and it was a repetitive thing that happened. Like I would people please too much. I would not I would bow down to people too much. I wouldn't stand up. I wouldn't be a leader. I wouldn't. I was working for someone. I wasn't happy in the role, but I accepted it. And what this did is it brings you back to that moment where the rock was first thrown, and it slowly desensitizes that trauma that has a ripple effect, like you thought, the vibrations throughout your life, and slowly brings it down to a level that it's no longer affecting your life. And it was really exhausting, the therapy, but I never thought it did anything. I thought, oh, that did nothing to me. And then 6 months later, Sahara turned around to me and says, do you see how much that's changed you? And I went, what are you on about? She says, the therapy that you did. Says, you're a changed man. You're confident. You started your own business. You left your job. You're not accepting people's shit anymore. You know, I says, oh yeah, I never really. Says, there's only one thing that could have changed that. Like, you know what I mean? And it was that, and one other thing, which was I did a shamanic journey without ayahuasca or DMT. I did it through meditation, and I'm it's a mad one, but I met a warrior who told me that I was to be a leader, and I needed to stop shying away from being a leader and just step up and be strong. Like, and I think, I'm a big believer in therapy for the right reasons and with the right people. Because what Colin said there is, if you don't connect with the person, they're not supposed to be your therapist. It's like, in my opinion, you know, even if they're trained, it doesn't mean that they're going to be the right therapist for you, because you have to feel safe and comfortable with them. You know, it's like what you said, that grief counsellor was, you know, right for you.
To be honest, she didn't really do
a whole lot. She didn't with me.
A whole lot. Do you know what I found about grief counselling is, do you know, anytime you go to talk about whatever it is and you get emotional,
Yeah.
you hold yourself back,
Yeah.
right? But with the counsellor, I didn't hold myself back.
Yeah.
Like, you just kind of went through it, and mate, it was.
She made you present with it. Like, did she
Yeah.
get you to put your hand on your heart?
Yeah.
So it's like
I
you're
struggle-
present with that.
I
Like,
struggle with certain things like that,
Yeah.
you know, because I overanalyze it in my
Yeah.
head. You know what I mean? And it was like that with the EMDR. Like the amount of people I know that I always say that the amount of people I know, a couple of people that have done it for no reason. It wasn't like that anything massive wrong in their life, and then come out and their whole life has changed. Like Dan said, the attitude, the confidence, everything. You know, like it's even in work and business. Like they became stronger, more successful, and it's just from a shift of, you know, small things that would have bothered you might not even realize it. You know,
that has this constant rippling effect throughout your life. You know, so
to answer your question, I've had like I tried mood therapy, tried the some other different types of ones. Never ones like that though. Like that'd be interesting. But when I said about that's best therapist is yourself. Not so much to go through stuff like that, like guided meditation.
Yeah.
I'd love to do a proper guided one of them
shamanic journey.
kind of yeah. And so what I was saying was, as I grew up and taught myself them life lessons, I also mine isn't. I think about it and it puts me into one. I could sit and talk about it and think about it. Mine sort of. I'm okay. Everything's cool. Everything's good. Bang! Out of nowhere, it'll just snatch away every bit of life out of me, and it'll just plummet me. And what I've gotten better at, and how I do get better, is each time the dip gets shorter.
Okay.
And shorter and shorter, but it can change every now and again. I could have a little bit of a dip, and then immediately distract myself and put myself onto something to try and distract myself, and I'll save myself from that dip.
but you can definitely work through that where you don't have those dips,
Yeah.
like and I can only relate it back to like when my mum died. Like, I'd go in. I remember texting him, and all his reply was, "Bro, you really need that therapy." I was
I'm not a professional, like, you know.
When
Like,
I say I was in a hole, man, I'd go into roaring, crying for hours. Like, I'd be lying. I'm like, how am I gonna I couldn't see. It wasn't suicidal, but I couldn't see how I could live the way I was. And then maybe 5 or 6 sessions, and that doesn't have that power over me like that. Grand.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that can be with anything that can be worked through, because that was the worst thing I've ever went through, and it took the power out of it. You know, like, you still get upset or sad, but not to the level, mate. I was roaring, like, literally for hours, roaring, crying on the bed. And I texted him, "How long did it take you to get through this?" Like, he goes, "You really need to see that counsellor." Yeah. I was like, and I did, you know, but that I can relate to that. Like, those dips are horrible, man.
It's like just getting put in a chokehold.
Isn't it? It's horrible.
That thing what I wrote was literally as I was pulling myself out of that. Like, it was because I've got tinnitus as well in my left ear.
So do I. I have constant.
very mild, but it's minor from DJing.
Do you have it all? Like,
So when it goes quiet, I'll start hearing sounds from earlier or talking from earlier. When it's like not like fully, but like sort of echoes and hums. But whereas I used to see it as it gets painful. Sometimes it can hurt because it could just be like niggling thing. But my brain, I can't stand sharp noises. Like it sounds daft because we used to throw crack grenades and let them blow up in front of me or whatever. But for instance, plates. There's a stack of plates, and you put them into the cupboard, and it makes that clattering sound of all the plates. That I've never felt the rage of like that immediate, just like flipping a switch. Not that I'm gonna flip the table because she's made a noise and smash everything up, but just that in inner anger, just off that one sound, and how much it could just like make your skin and every follicle in your body like electrocute you all at once. Like my mind's not high pitched noises, but sharp noises.
Do you get like an anger that you're really annoyed with the
I want
person
to kill
that's done
the
it?
sound. Like I want to end the sound.
And the
Like,
person that's doing it.
no, not the person
I get it with
that's doing it.
people eating.
Chewing with the mouth open.
Say for example,
I can't handle people chewing with their mouth open.
It don't make me angry. It just makes me think you're a
No.
tramp.
no, it makes me really angry, man.
Yeah.
And it's not they're doing anything wrong, even with their mouth closed. It's the sound of the eating, the crunch.
You're like it with or without the mouth open, right? It
What?
doesn't matter to you. Like if
No, it's just the sound. But it's fine. Say for example, we went out for something to eat and there was music and all that. I wouldn't notice that.
Yeah.
But say for example, me and the missus are sitting down watching something. She can't eat beside me. I'll have to go upstairs or she'll have to. It's horrible, man.
No, yeah, no.
I hate
only laugh,
it, man.
I only laugh because it's
No.
one of those things where we're like,
No,
why
it's
am I
funny,
like this? Why am I like this?
Yeah, and I'm just thinking,
I'd
I
love to be
feel
able
so
to
bad,
ignore
like,
it,
you
yeah.
know. And I had to explain it to her because I was just getting angry and angry when we first met. I said, look, I have to explain something to you. Like, I really struggle with this. So
Yeah.
we, like, at home, we can't really eat together.
Can I ask you another question, actually? Because we all have the same interest in this. You competed in a boxing event recently.
Yeah,
enough,
yeah.
right?
Did you? I didn't see that.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did.
I'll have
Yeah,
to check that out.
Me and Matty were going to go over until we checked the flights, and then Matty would have had to bring the
Can't
kid.
believe
it
they
was,
didn't go.
It was mate. It was really
I'm only
complicated.
joking.
It was like
Can't believe Tenerife First Excursions didn't sponsor me.
we would have sponsored you.
Did you ask? I would have
Oh, I know,
sponsored you,
yeah,
bro.
I
Next
even
time
think
you're
so.
going to do that, just ask us.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Chillbox even better.
Yeah, we would definitely
Yeah.
sponsor you. Don't even think about it.
Come
Just
over, yeah.
contact us if you're going to do it again. But I will say, how did you Right, I got into martial arts, jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai. I'd done it for about 4 years. Not as much jiu-jitsu because I got my ribs broke. I used to get injured in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I only got one injury in kickboxing or Muay Thai. Never
Yeah.
got injured, man. I go out and play soccer, I kick a football, I tear my hamstring. In martial arts, and with the exception of jiu-jitsu, I never really got injured. But what it done for me as a man as well, and like mental health and
Yeah.
all that. Like, what did you always box,
No.
or did you just get into it recently?
No. So this is what I say to people.
How'd you get on, firstly? Did you win?
Yeah,
Deadly.
you won, yeah.
I wish I'd have joined
Well
the
done.
boxing gym instead of joining the army.
Right.
Because it teaches the same respect, the same sort of morals, but you also will get something out of it one day. I look back at 8 years in the army and think, pure. That's it. There's nothing to thinking. People will be like, "Oh, but you learnt this," and you're like, "Yeah, I've took things from it,
Yeah.
but it is not. It hasn't molded me into somebody who was ready to be a civilian.
Right,
Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah. You just institutionalized and whatever. But anyway, sorry. Back to your question. No, so I started boxing training. I tried starting a couple of years ago. When I first came out of the army, I tried starting to box and then did a couple of weeks and then found out just kept on getting a sharp pain in my side. It turned out to be a tumour.
Oh.
2.5 years of 2 years, 2 and a bit years of painkillers and running around doctors, and they're saying it's this, they're saying it's that. Trapped nerve. They were saying trapped nerve for about a year. Untrap it then, mate. Cut it. The pain was absolutely unbearable, and so that put a stop to anything then. That I wanted to go and do. I just stayed fishing, just sat fishing all the time, and then
Love fishing.
yeah, I love fishing. Fast forward to about maybe 5 months ago, end of last year. I just started going. I started enjoying it, and I started watching myself back. So I put like clips up of me from them 2 weeks before I've found out I had a tumour. And I just stopped. I hadn't found out at that point and then stopped. Had the pain anyway, but I had to stop because of the pain. I was watching videos of myself hitting the bag and just creased and just laughed my head off because I think, Jesus Christ, I actually thought I could fight back then. Like I'd watch that and in my head when I'm hitting that bag, I thought I looked min. And I didn't look min. I looked like a sack of potatoes trying to hit a bag. But then the more I went, and the build up to the fight, training at different gyms, sparring different people, getting my head peppered off. Like, I don't know, it was just what you said it did for your head. When I was going boxing training, I'd feel so much better afterwards because, it had that release of it. So when I was younger, just quickly touch on release, and now it can be a good thing and a bad thing depending on how you do it. So when I was younger, I tried self-harming and all stuff like that. And the way people viewed it back then was attention seeking. If you're going to do it properly.
Yeah.
Go down, not across, and all this. My amateur was the top of my legs because when I was in the army, I did it. And then when we wore shorts and t-shirt for fizz, people would see them. Mine wasn't for attention. Picture, you got a bottle of Coke now, full fat Coke.
Yeah.
Got it in front of you now. Drink a bit of it, put the lid on, and shake it. Keep shaking it like this. It's just going to get tighter and tighter and tighter. It's going to wants to explode out of that bottle. Like the pressure is immense. It's horrible. It's in pain. Let a bit of the air out. That's what mine is. Mine was like not only just a release of tension. When you feel like you're going to explode, your whole body feels like it's exploding. That there was like that thingy.
The self-harming was that.
Yeah, and
right?
it is a vicious circle for self-harm, and there's so many better ways to deal with it as well. So obviously this is an advert to go and try that, because you know what I mean, don't do that to yourself. You're not a doodle book. Don't draw pictures. Get a tattoo, you're going to do it yourself, because I'm covered in all these tattoos and these are all self-drawn, and I did all these to myself, which is a much more less mental sort of release.
You can draw a little bit, no?
Yeah, well, a little bit. But yeah, sorry, what did I say?
So release-wise, is boxing now your release similar to that?
It was that vice. I had to stop, obviously, family stuff and that. Sophie had some stuff she needed to sort out, and she needed some time after it. So she, I don't know if I forgot I'm saying it. She had a boob job.
Okay.
And obviously the recovery of that it is intense. So it was sort of, I had my boxing fight, build up to it and all. It was all mint, and the anxiety on the night was ridiculous. I don't know how I kept to the game plan that I'd spoke to my coach about, which was keep a tight guard, feel like it's power, no power, jab back, look for the right, and whatever. And it was how I managed to get in the ring and actually stick to that game plan.
How many rounds was it?
Didn't go past the first.
You knocked him out?
But no.
They just stopped it.
He didn't prepare for the fight properly, so he was just a bag of shit. Reckon I hit him on the back of the head and all this stuff. But I've got a slowed down video for if anybody wants to question it.
How many rounds was it scheduled for? Like
3 2s. It's white collar,
2s.
isn't it? It's not.
Oh, right,
nothing
okay.
proper.
16-ounce gloves.
I got 12. We used 12s.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Is it 12s? Yeah, it was 12s, I think.
It's, I never actually fought competitively. I just love training. I like sparring. I love sparring a lot. But I remembered a guy telling me, like, you need to train. Like a guy that used to be a professional fighter in Thailand telling me, you need to train because, like, so much. Because on the night of the anxiety and everything you have, you lose 50%. Of like your fitness. I don't know if it's fitness.
It's
your skill. You lose 50% of your composure, don't you? So no matter how much you've trained,
but you tire quicker.
You tire quicker. That's
yeah,
it.
big
You tire quicker. Like the emotion of the night, the
and the
overwhelming
room was
anxiety
so
and
hot
everything.
as well. The hall that it was in the Adelphi Hotel in Liverpool, and it was so hot. Couldn't believe it. I was having a little shadow box at the beginning of the night.
What was it like? What was the event? Was it like a
just a white collar event?
Okay.
Just like a influencer boxing.
Cool. Is that like what's your man? Ben Williams does the?
No, he does like proper one. He does like miss.
Do not call out someone, no? Call them out like on TikTok and go do it.
I'll give from the start of this podcast. I'll give you a guess who I want to scrap.
Who you can't beat? Right, you heard it here. Let's call out.
He won't. So
he
we put TikToks up.
He keeps injuring his shoulder, right? He signs up the fights.
Yeah.
And then pulls it out.
If you ever over here and you want to let him move around, I'm always up for it.
He's too big to spar.
No, but I don't like I've sparred with small, big.
But it's
I don't. It's not cheating. It's
he can hit you about that much away from your.
Yeah, but I've sparred lads bigger than me, and I still hit them because they're slow.
Yeah.
I'm not slow. It's a difference.
You sparred lads bigger than you.
Yeah, I sparred a big German lad.
Is it?
Yeah, he was just a little bit slower than me, but like I can whip a jab out very, very quickly. I mean, and then I sparred lads that are smaller than me that have schooled the hell out of me, like they're way better than me.
I was always conscious of like breaking my nose.
My trainer Lee, he battered me around the ring, like he's broke my ribs twice. He's near KO'd me a few times. The young lad,
You would love it, like
I had a young lad.
This mad joke used to spar. I don't know if I should say it or not. Bare knuckle, like.
Yeah, but like, not to the face. It was only to the body.
Bare
You know what I mean, we open hand to the face, like, because I don't need the marks on my face. Look at this beautiful face here, you know. You squint. But yeah, but it's hard because you get all these black marks, like all these marks all over your body. But like, it's not that so much. It's more of you don't want to be getting caught. Like, you watch that bare knuckle stuff, man. They get cut up proper on their face.
I couldn't do it.
It's like one fight and your face is rearranged for life.
Yeah, big time.
Bare knuckle for me is when you need it. Like, a bare knuckle is when you haven't got time to put gloves on. Do you know what I mean? It's in that situation. I couldn't do it, me. These guys are, all credit to them, don't fill me in. I'm not saying there's anything bad about it. I swear to God. But, you know,
we'll give you his address after this.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I haven't got the minerals for that. You know what I mean? It's just open. Yeah, if you're good and you can stay out the way of the hand, but if it catches you,
but no, they set it up. There's no getting out of the way of it. Like, if you look at the rings,
have you seen the hay bale ones?
That's what. There's no like
God.
even the.
Boom, boom, boom.
But think about boxing, right?
You step back and you sat on the hay bale and he's still hitting you.
Think about when have you sparred or in your fight you were hit at least once, no? Yeah. So when you're like, the fact is, if you get into a ring and you spar, you're getting hit.
Yeah.
Just no matter how hard and how many times. So it's like, you were always like, you realize that boxing is like, you get hit no matter what, like, and that's it. You just got to understand that that's it. And then when you get, like, for me, like, if I haven't sparred in a good while, like the operation of 2 operations, I sparred before that, and it was set up like a fight that, like, and I'm old now, so, but like, there was set up like this fight with this fella I'd never met before, and it was the last time I sparred, and I was anxious, man, because I hadn't sparred in a while. And then the minute you get hit the first time, you're like, yeah, let's go.
But you know what I like about it is when you get hit and you realize this isn't that bad.
Yeah.
Until you get, I've been hit by a fella, and I was out cold, and I said, that was the scariest experience I ever had when I was. Have you ever been knocked out?
No.
Yeah, but not in a ring.
I've been busy.
It's a horrible feeling.
I nearly,
you wake up, you don't know where you are, what's going on.
I got knuckle dusted to the eye socket.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
What, like the
KO'd? Like, are we out? Like,
so we was on a night out in Winchester when I was in the army, and because I was based down there, and we went on a night out in Winchester, and we'd been to a few pubs and that. Shit shirt Saturday. We all had like horrible flowery tops on, and pub crawling, and we've ended up trying to go into this bar. The people that I was with, there was one of them, man clad, was just nuts, and he was trying to get in, whatever, and I walked around the side. I could see him arguing with the bouncers. I was like, I keep myself away from that. Walked around the side, and then they've got into like some argument inside, and it spilled outside. And then next thing you know, I've heard "Oi!" turned, and then woke up in this girl's lap with a cardigan wrapped around me, blood pouring like that, pumping. It shattered my eye socket, like it snapped my eye socket, and then shattered into my cheekbone. And the only reason we knew it was that is because of how the thingies were sort of shaped.
Yeah, see the shape of the knuckles.
So it was like, that wasn't a fist that hit you, sort of thing, but it was something that was
vicious
localized. Yeah, horrible. See, when I think about it, there was just no time to react. It was oi, turn, boom, woke up, just pumping blood.
I knew it was that.
I was out for a good 5 minutes. Like there was no.
Did you have concussion?
Like back, yeah, big time.
It's a horrible feeling. That.
Yeah, just woke up and obviously they said, we're getting in an argument with them, and he's ran around the corner and hit you, and then ran off up the street. And obviously it's because of the tops that he was wearing. He's had an argument with tops. Come outside, seen a top on his own, gone over, oi, bang. And but yeah, then I'm on the way back in the taxi, and one of the lads there, Aaron's like, I'm so sorry. And he's just belt feeding me chicken nuggets from Mackey's. So I'm sat there, my face is just like pumping and that, holding my face together and that. And then I literally spent like 2.5 weeks in my room in the block. I won't come out. The state of my face was horrific. It was just like a dent there. I went to the hospital and stuff. And there was like, we'll do the operation, but there's a chance your eye can drop, and it'll drop down like that. So I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm just eyeing it all up, and I'm like, leave it. Don't open the operation, and touch wood.
Yeah, you don't see anything there. Like.
Just come back.
Yeah. Well, it didn't come back. Nothing dropped. It just sort of
No real scars I can see.
No. The main thing of what it was my cheekbone.
Yeah.
So when it gets cold now, and I sniff up really hard, the air goes to my eye will start watering. So when it gets cold, I try not to breathe through my nose.
That's not too bad considering.
It sounds daft. It goes up and thingy there. Or what's another one? When I sniff up really hard, something stores there, like fluid or air, and squeaks out. Sounds really mad.
Squeaky
I can't do
eye.
it right now. Can you make Tenerife go cold really quick?
You're not gonna have that.
Yeah, it squeaks and horrible. But yeah, chose not to have the surgery, not sniffing my risking. Hey, you guys.
Before we wrap it up, I'm gonna ask you one. We'll wrap up with this. What's your plan for your TikTok? How can people find you? And yeah.
So Mason Boyle 99 on Instagram and TikTok.
Mason Boyle 99.
Yeah.
So they just need to type that in, they'll get you.
Yeah.
Super.
There's no real direction I'm going with mine. Obviously, the main thing at the minute is get my pennies in a bunch. Start saving. This was my last little thingy to myself, obviously, to try and get a grip of myself a little bit and get some of the old Mason back in me. But yeah, it's I've got stuff coming up with people. Obviously, at the minute I can talk about. I'm working with Team U at the minute on a little ad campaign.
Okay.
Little short and sweet things to see how it feels, and then potentially move into a contracted thing.
Cool.
So I'm doing that, and then other little hustles like trading still on the cards, but at the minute with the manipulation of everything, foreign exchange, with all the manipulation of big companies and stuff. At the minute, I've took a big step back when it comes to trading, but that's on the cards too. Business ideas at home that I've got to flick through and work out the best way to navigate them. But yeah, the grind never stops.
100%.
Keep going. Don't be that average Joe that gets stuck in the mud and ends up like some of our friends. Be the unicorn. That's what I'm trying to do by coming over here for this little solo.
I'd say don't be afraid to fail.
Exactly.
Because you do fail on the way.
Fail fucking hard.
Yeah,
too.
and you
fail
learn.
hard.
You learn.
We always say that. And it was my auntie's always saying to me, not always, but she said to me a few times, like, be careful now with your money and all that. I said, I'm going big. Or I was like, or I'll go down in a ball of flames after living like this. We always say it, me and Dan, especially lately, talking about it, like, start again, bro.
Yeah.
And it was him that said it to me one day. So what? I'll just start again. And
I think
it clicked with me. I was like, how many times have we fucking started again? And like, it's not that difficult. Like,
I think for people who are already at a level, gifted sort of lifestyles and inherited good lives and money and whatever, from them having to start again is from nothing is the end of the world.
That's a fair point, actually.
The end of the world. For people who've had to start from the beginning, it's, we feel like I say it sometimes. My luck's terrible in most things. I'm never going to win the lottery, but my luck's different in other things. I can make the best out of a bad situation. Like I'll get dropped in a barrel full of crocodiles and come up with a Lacoste t-shirt on. Do you know?
I haven't heard that one.
I'll make good. I'll make good as the best as I can. Especially with Sophie and with Philly. There's no turning this off. There's nothing that's going to be too strong enough to make me, because it's in that thing what I spoke about. Being a dad is a sacred commitment that I made when my little girl was born, when she was conceived and we found that she was there. That was it immediately then, that I won't fall on my sword, because it won't just be me falling on that sword. My little girl's got to grow up and go through school and stuff, and then gets to an age where we all would ask, like, what was wrong with me? Why did he leave? Why did he do that? 'Cause she'll find out what actually happened. So I won't fall on my sword and give up too soon, because I might never reach that finish line, but fuck me, it'd be a good story to tell on the way there.
Huh?
You know what I mean?
Thing as simple as this, and as I'll end this on this, is I think that all the external stuff, right, bar obviously your family and your daughter and everything like that, comes and goes.
Yeah.
But the most important thing for us, in my personal opinion, for myself, is my mental health, my well-being within myself, and my recovery, and everything else can be rebuilt. So as long as I take care of the core things, which is
the foundation
of my recovery, Like, because before I found recovery and before I found a good place in mental health, I didn't want to live. I wanted to die because I didn't know any other way of living. I just thought it was an absolute mess. So now I know that the worst place it could go is that. And I know if I keep on top of my mental health and recovery and all that, all the other stuff can be rebuilt. All the other stuff comes and goes. But it's like, as long as I stay like that, I'm like a mountain. The seasons come and go, but I'm still stay strong and I'll still be okay. And that's the core to it all. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck, Mason, in your life and everything. I'll hopefully get you back on this podcast and you've done your DMT thing and you can tell us if it's a load of shit. Yeah.
Coming in with one of them tie-dye t-shirts on, peace and love glasses on. Let's go hair down here.
So guys, check out Mason. Thanks a million, brother. I really appreciate it.
Lovely stuff.
Take care of yourself, man. Thanks, Colin, as well.
Thank you.
And peace out, boys.
Peace out.